YouTube Francs, welcome back to another video. So this has been a really popular question I've been getting. You've seen the title. It seems like a lot of people who were saving for Ayaka and did not expect to be interested in Ayato are now a little hazy on their decision because maybe they've seen Ayato's playstyle and videos on him and he looks satisfying to them or something like that. I wanted to address this in video format with what seems to be a short topic and cover some nuances regarding both of them and how they settle into current Genshin character roster. Reminder that this video is targeting people who are on the fence. Obviously, if you already pulled for one of the Kamisato siblings, or planning for both, or saving for Yellen maybe, then you're chilling. Alright, let's begin. Alright, team compositions. In my opinion, one of the most important factors for how a character can help out your team. We have recently released Ayato, a Hydro Sword character with extreme versatility for compositions, either usable for strictly his burst and or as an on-field Hydro enabler for reaction-based compositions. Then we have Ayaka, a Cryo Sword user, most well known for how strong her burst damage is, though it does need team setup for maximum consistency. So both of these characters can be really strong options wherever their specific kit is needed. Cryo DPS are very popular gameplay choices, able to abuse freeze reaction or deal with very high amplified DPS with the melt reaction. Hydro enablers are very strong glue options that connect team comps and allow reaction comps to utilize their potential. These supports are usually most limited and high in demand due to 3 compositions requiring some aspects of Hydro application to maximize efficiency. So, let's dig a little deeper with these 2 characters. Ayato, newly released Hydro character with access to very easy to use and fluid playstyle. Very similar to Tartag in playstyle, but is not limited to prolonged rotations and has a persistent burst as well that can maintain Hydro application even when off-field. I would say that he gives the largest value to players who don't have many Hydro characters that glue their teams together. The other Hydro characters who provide similar team utility as him are Kokomi, Xingqiu, Tartag, and Mona. Now 3 of these characters are 5-star characters, and 4-star Xingqiu is usually heavily used in Pyro enabler compositions due to his super high single target Hydro application. Players who don't have a 5-star Hydro character that they can rely on from the Kokomi, Tartag, and Mona may find that Ayato be a really nice piece to the puzzle that softens the Hydro restriction for your team comps. Now, I know what you dreamers may be thinking. Well, but what about Yellen? Unfortunately, we don't have official information to discuss off of, so I must leave you dreamers to your own decision making on that one. Things to note about the 5-star Hydro characters that I mentioned. Tartag can feel clunky for some due to his immense elemental skill cooldown that forces prolonged rotations before he can be back on the field. Mona's Hydro application is rather short, and her value is mostly focused on her bursts, omen damage windows. Kokomi provides insane Hydro uptime and tops up your team's HP completely off-field, but lacks in the additional DPS department. So you can kind of see where Ayato fits in here. He has good Hydro application, but requires on-field. He has good additional DPS, but he doesn't heal. He's not reliant on energy due to his elemental skill having a low cooldown, which is pretty nice. And as we mentioned before, he has versatility on 6 to 7 team comps. He works on Taser, Freeze, Vaporize, comps involving Venti, attack speed, Sunfire, etc. So Hydro characters are still one of the most valuable support elements, and Ayato can definitely fit in a lot of compositions that may require one. If you'd like a more detailed rundown on Ayato, don't forget to check out my complete guide released recently. Now, for Ayaka, her archetype is fairly straightforward. Cryo DPS. For the 2 sides of Melt and Freeze, Ayaka's primary strength revolves around Freeze. If your roster is lacking like an anchor point DPS for like freeze compositions, for example Ganyu, but you do have the Hydro glue to glue the composition together, then Ayaka may be the strong choice. So freeze compositions continue to be extremely popular choices in the Abyss due to crowd control lock of the freeze providing such high value to guaranteeing DPS rotations and being relatively comfy to play around. And for Ayaka, freezing the enemies prior to unleashing her burst is almost a requirement due to how much damage gain or loss can happen without the right setup. So she has one of the highest burst damage windows in 5 seconds, but this can also be completely wasted if not prepared well in that her burst completely misses. So with these composition details in mind, those on the fence hopefully have a clearer understanding of what to prioritize. So I would say general conclusions is that Ayaka's preference is if you need a strong crowd DPS and you don't have or don't prefer to use Ganyu. And then on the flip side, Ayato is if you need more Hydro Glue to complete your team comps because you're lacking in that department. Okay, so what about weapons and artifacts then? So we know that both Ayato and Ayaka are DPS sword users, so their weapon rosters are basically identical. This should be a non-factor in deciding which to choose. At the bare minimum, that there's a nice set of 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star weapons that fit both characters. So even newer players shouldn't struggle too much to gear either of them up no matter which one you choose. But then what about for artifacts? So both of them are kind of reliant on completed 4-piece sets. Ayaka is a bit more restrictive in my opinion because she targets 4-piece Blizzard and only 4-piece Blizzard, even forcing this complete set at the expense of substats. It's because the 20 to 40% crit rate boost from the 4-piece is too strong of a buff for freeze-based cryo DPS. The Dragonspine dungeon has been out for quite a while though, so most players probably have a solid 4-piece Blizzard set to use. If you don't, but are looking to get Ayaka, well, then it's time to get farming. So Ayato, while he does want 4-piece completed sets, he does have a couple options and doesn't really lag too far behind if you're only running 2-piece. So veteran players may be rocking a 4-piece Gladiator set that they farmed over many months of weekly bosses. Or you might have farmed 4-piece Heart of Depth set from Dragonspine's dungeon, which was released very early on in the game. Or maybe you got super lucky and already have like a 4-piece decent Echo set. And if you already have a decent 4-piece Echo set, and like even if you spent a crap ton of resin, I feel like you're still fairly lucky. So even if you don't have those 4-piece options, standard 2-piece mixing an attack percent and hydro is not too much of a detriment. You'll probably lose around like 10 to 15% DPS without a committed 4-piece set for Ayato, but making up some of that by not restricting a 4-piece will probably give you stronger substats, so you should be fine. So then, for these two Kamisato siblings, Ayaka then probably poses the biggest threat to nice artifacts, given that she only really wants one set and wants it to be full 4-piece. Now, even if you don't have 4-piece, I know that some of you guys might be running like 2-piece Blizzard and 2-piece Noblesse. That is perfectly fine. I'm just saying that those who are looking forward to Ayaka, 4-piece Blizzard is really, really valuable. Alright, that should wrap it up then. Hopefully this video gives you a clear distinction between which Kamisato sibling may be most valuable for you. Or you just wanted to hear my thoughts and wait for Yellen anyway. Regardless, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch me on Twitch if you'd like. Link in the description. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.